Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are live, and this is the David Starlyte Show. I'm on live every week, coming to you from Australia. So welcome everyone, new people, old people. Say hi, do say hi. It would be great to see you. Please do also like and share the show during this broadcast. You can support my page by sending stars, a digital gift that helps me to earn money, which is always appreciated and helps the show continue. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Africa. I'm an African Australian now. So I grew up in a city called Cape Town. A lot of you have heard of Cape Town these days. It's much more of a tourist destination. And I studied as a monastic. I studied lots and lots of things for many years. Hey there, Amanda. I was just talking about myself, and there you are. Welcome. Welcome to the show, Amanda, and welcome, Marianne. How has your week been? How have you been since I saw you last week? So I've got my tea here. I like to drink tea. If anyone knows me, I enjoy my tea. And what about you? What do you like to drink? Do you like coffee? Some people like the coffee. It's very popular. So I was telling you a little bit about my background. I grew up in Africa and now I'm in Australia. So that makes me an African Australian. And I studied a number of years nutrition and herbal medicine and became a naturopathic physician, a naturopath. And Marianne says it's still hot. I'm a tea gal. Awesome. Well, then we get along, Marianne. I just want to keep drinking my tea. And it's a slightly cooler day out here. It's a little bit cool this time of year. So even more tea is necessary. But somehow in the summer, I also like my tea. So I don't know how to explain that. I guess it's habit, but there is something attractive in warm things. So another week has gone by and we still have the same situations. It doesn't seem like much is being resolved. It's just Groundhog Day, things continuing, a lot of struggles in the world. Amanda likes iced coffee, but not in winter. That would be too cold. I guess when it gets really hot, then iced coffee can be very appealing. Marianne says, what's your favorite? I prefer English breakfast and afternoon. I'm not sure. There's all these varieties, but, I think the old sort of English breakfast, that's the one I enjoy most. I used to drink a lot of Red Bush, which is an African tea. It's also called rooibos, which literally means red bush in Dutch, rooibos. So that's a beautiful tea, high in antioxidants. And I really used to enjoy drinking that. It doesn't have any caffeine. But I do enjoy good English breakfast, absolutely, Marianne. And at the moment I've got just a simple green tea and an English breakfast. I also mix them together. I can drink coffee any day, all day. Laugh out loud. Amanda, how do you sleep, Amanda? And Marianne says Twinings brand. Oh, you like Twinings? Actually, we do have Twinings out here, Marianne, even though, I live in this quite remote part of Australia. We do have Twinings. We have Yorkshire. And we have Dilmah. We have a few different options, but I think those are the best three: Yorkshire, Dilmah, and Twinings. Now, I prefer Dilmah. I like Dilmah the most, which is a Sri Lankan tea. But I must say, for many years, I was in love with Yorkshire tea. So I really liked Yorkshire tea, but now I'm more into Dilmah, and I'm just scratching my leg, and I think a mosquito has bitten me. I'm I'm really itchy suddenly, and I'm just like, where? I don't see any mosquitoes, but I think I've been bitten by a mosquito. So, what does tea mean to you? Do you have a ritual? How do you make your tea? Do you have a special tea set? There's so many tea rituals that are really delightful, that are really fantastic, and tea can be something that you use to practice meditation, presence, ceremony. There's something that can be almost sacred about tea. I think the Japanese have quite a sacred tea making ceremony. And they're well known for the matcha tea, but some of the practices of setting up tea promote things like mindfulness and relaxation. You can set intentions. There's also people who read tea leaves. That's really interesting. Have you heard of that? Have you ever met someone who reads tea leaves? I think that's really fascinating. People also read coffee grinds. I remember having a friend who did that, and whatever it was, coffee or tea, pretty much anything, she could do a reading on it. So there's a certain presence in drinking tea, especially if you are really enjoying all this, the smell and the sensation, the warmth, the heat, the taste, and you can really enjoy that. You can really enjoy that, appreciate it, and also sharing with other people. So that's when it gets really communal. It's really about sharing. Amantha says, I sleep just fine. Actually, doesn't really affect me like that, which is quite interesting. Was it always like that? Maybe your body has become attuned to lots of caffeine. I do wonder how you would sleep without the caffeine. I steep the tea and I use a tall cup. And so, what does a tall cup do for you, Marianne? A tall cup. So we're talking tea rituals today, and who drinks tea and coffee? Have you been to Japanese or a Chinese tea ritual? I've spent quite a few months in China. So I'm more familiar with China, but I know Taiwan and Japan and have many of these traditional ceremonies, which can be poetic, can be inspiring, meditative, even quite spiritual. So, what is it about tea and spirituality? The Chinese have this, wonderful tea ceremony, and there's so many symbols, and there's so much of a rich culture in China that's brings this tradition that has weight and significance. But I think the interesting aspect is the business communal connection, the way that tea is used sort of as a gateway to connection, a gateway to make business deals, a gateway to get to know people, a gateway to make people not strangers anymore, bring them in. So the tea ceremony is really a gateway to connection in different ways. Even dating and romantically, that the tea can be part of that setup. Just more of it. And Amantha, you're having a paradoxical effect with the caffeine. So that's that is interesting about not sleeping with caffeine, because for me it really affects me, and it does sort of make the heart pump more quickly. It sort of has a mechanism on the body. It even blocks it blocks sleepiness. So there's an interesting thing happening with Amantha, but it also does affect the timing. So are you able to drink coffee late? Because most people I know, they say, well, coffee's fine in the mornings because it takes 6 to 12 hours or whatever it is for it to move through your body, and in some cases more, for that caffeine tolerance or the caffeine to shift through your body, particularly detoxified or processed through the liver. But some people are able to actually sleep with the coffee, so it's really fascinating. Amantha and caffeine. So every week we come on the show, we connect with beautiful people, we discuss the spiritual path, do psychic readings, and discuss often issues of transformation, issues of Buddhist mysticism, spiritual mysticism. I'm an eternal student, so I'm interested in many pathways. I'm interested in mysticism and health, wellness, mysticism, Buddhism, meditation, yoga. And I've had opportunities to spend several weeks in India as well. Matali, welcome. Marta, I think it's Marta. Welcome. Well, Marta, what a surprise to have you on the show. And it's really wonderful and exciting to see you with the beautiful flower. Marta is in Portugal. And I just messaged you earlier, Marta. So thank you for coming on the show. How are you? How's everything going? How are you feeling emotionally, spiritually? And what are you experiencing? What are you going through? Amanda says I can drink it right before bed and sleep just fine. So that's amazing. I'm happy. You have quite a gift there with the coffee. There you go. So Marta is in Portugal, and how is it going? And how are we doing today, Marta? What can you tell me? And we go on the show every week as well to connect to a type of oneness experience, contemplative meditation and prayer, and connect to our spiritual self as well as other aspects, physical, emotional, cosmic self. Very much also encouraging people to spend time in nature. Thank you for making this live. I am worried. What are you worried about, Marta? So, what is mysticism? That's a very good question. And it's often described as that which we cannot describe, that which we experience but cannot describe. So we do experience mysticism, but to describe it is almost impossible. It's a mystical. What is a mystical state? It's something often out of body experiences, and something that we perceive, but we do not know how to describe. And there are words like oneness, which union with the divine, transcendence, ecstasy. There's lots of words you can use for mysticism, which point to it, but never quite get to it. So I'm going to pick a card for you quickly, Marta, and we are very much feeling that the spirit around you is requiring a type of nutritious kind of, it's almost like a fertile soil around you, that is very much important that you create this beautiful soil around you. So it's like earth around you. So I'm feeling also earthing around you. So this is happening with you. you can just feel a little bit of sun on your skin and connect to the rocks, connect to the earth, connect to the ground, connect to the trees. It's very much important that you bring this energy and seed this energy into the earth. So this card is saying that you have this cosmic ancestry. It's almost like this, that you're a seed of the light that comes from above, and it's so important that you convert that or transform that energy down into the ground, into the earth. So what we can happen with people who are more cosmically oriented is they can be quite up in the air. And so it's important that you ground your energy. What does it mean to be a star keeper, Marta? What does it mean to be a star keeper? Well, this is something wonderful, beautiful. There's a splendor in it to be an ancient keeper of the mystics, to be a keeper of the stars, to anchor and seed in this higher energy, this more elevated energy, this more spiritual energy, and you're doing it in a unique way. So don't look at what other people are doing and compare yourself to them, because likely you've come here before and dedicated yourself to this era to help people awaken, to help people bring a shift in the planet's actual evolution. And we're in this now, and it's almost like it feels like the mud is really deep, but this is really a tipping point. When the mud gets the most deep, that's when things are actually shifting the most, and the survival of Earth is really coming to a head. This is the time that we need to remain grounded. We need to really come into our soul gifts and remember our soul gifts, and know that this is a transitional period, and that within the darkness is light. Within the darkness is light. And so really connect to your heart, Marta. The more love you anchor onto this planet, the more the wisdom of the stars will be activated in your soul, and the soul fragments within you will come home. They will be integrated. They will become integral to your being, and you'll be able to bring this wisdom down to earth, to express this wisdom in the world. And there are places that you're going, that you're going there to anchor this light. So these trips, these locations, these places you find yourself in, even the symptoms you are experiencing are symptoms of awakening. They're parts of this transformation. So very important that you are grounding into the earth and stabilizing the earth's energy, and helping the earth's energy become more and more soft, more and more gentle. And this gentleness is going to affect the collective, to bring about the change that you're here to foster. So you're here, as a human being, but you're also here with a larger sort of interconnected mission to help bring about the shift in the frequency. So trust that you're not alone. You are important to the purpose of the world. You're of the world, but not of it. And enjoy. Don't take yourself too seriously. Actually, also have fun and enjoy. Be playful with this. So that's the message for you, Marta. And yes, connecting to my heart. Thank you. And you said something about your cousin. Can you let me know more about that? And you said thank you. And you said yes. Just catching up with all these messages. So Marianne was talking about tea, and my tea's getting a bit cold, Marianne. And everyone who's live, do please like and share the show, and also write in the comments section, which allows me to respond to your requests, respond to readings, and launch any particular idea or teaching. Amantha says, I would like a card if possible. All right, so let's have a look at Amantha. I always feel issues of the heart with you, Amantha. Always feel that. Okay. And this is a very beautiful card, Amantha, reminding you to surrender, to connect, let go, surrender all this kind of ideas of how life should be, but breathe in the sweetness, breathe in the pleasure, the joy. This is really encouraging you, and I'm sure I've picked this card for you before. It's saying just embrace the sweetness of life. Get don't try and manage things or micromanage things or control things. It's let go of control, surrender, breathe in the cosmos, surrender to the sweetness. So these beautiful cards for you, Amantha, reminding you to connect to your body, connect to fun, connect to sensuality, connect to pleasure. It's I'm just looking for something with this card. It's very feminine as well. So embrace your feminine, embrace that surrendering to life, to allow the ever abundant feminine to take over, to taste the fruits of what you worked hard to grow, to let your senses take over and drink in a life of wonder. So it's really saying enjoy. It's saying enjoy, embrace the feminine, enjoy. You can imagine Venus, the Roman Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. So maybe put Venus up on your wall. And Venus is in our sky, and Venus shines the brightest in the sky outside of the moon. So Venus is very, very powerful in the sky. So it says don't just be working. You need play. All work and no play is going to bring you down. You need play. You need to reconnect. You need to give yourself time without an agenda. So just enjoy actual presence. Enjoy being in the present moment. It's saying there's too much seriousness around you, and now there's a real encouragement to sort of just let go and enjoy. So thank you, Amantha. Could I get a reading of the results of the phone call I had to make an hour ago? Will it bring results for my sisters sooner? Well, that sounds a little bit complicated, Marianne, but let's see what we can get. The results of a phone call I had to make an hour ago. Will it bring results for my sisters sooner? So I feel like there's like a mother's love here. There's a very strong love around this, but it's almost protected. And there's a soul plan here. So you can call it destiny. There's a destiny here, and there's also an opportunity card which says you can manifest. So there's a lot happening, a lot of energies coming out, Marianne. There is this birthing process happening, and this deep mother's love. So there's protection around this, but there's also like a sense of, call it fate or destiny, that things that have been planned. But there's also a sense of you can create this. So there's a lot of energies going on, which I'm not sure that it gives a single coherent answer to that question. And perhaps because it's so complex, that's what the cards produce. So I feel like, keep going, Marianne, and you will be making progress. That's what I get from the cards. You are making progress. It's not a straight line, no. Amantha says thank you, and Marianne says situation complicated. There you go, very complicated. So let's put the hat of a mystic, because I feel like what is a modern day mystic? What does it mean? It's something that we feel is in books of the past, in history, but what is it to be a modern day mystic? And I feel, Marianne, you are being sanctified as a modern day mystic. You're going through this journey of transformation that's containing the spiritual connection, but also living in the modern world, embracing modernity, but living in this crazy world we live in. And I feel like that's what this is all about. I don't know if people have heard of Saint Pedro Pio. Saint Pedro Pio, someone I've heard of. I don't know too much about him, but he's more of a modern day mystic, because people talk about levitation and things like that. So it's fascinating when you do hear about levitation and people who were able to levitate, and what kind of practices can sort of foster this kind of almost magical ability. So Marianne says, just means the truth will bring them what they needed. Mediumship class being sought. Padre Pio also had stigmata. Yeah. So stigmata. So what does it mean to you? And have you had any experiences with mystics? Have you had your own mystical experiences? I had a friend who I studied with whose husband levitated, and I actually never saw that with my eyes, but she was quite a serious person. She was, I think, in her late 40s when I was studying with her. So she wasn't like a kid or something. So this was something that was happening to her husband. So she told me this happened. This was like a normal thing in their household. So I think that's the closest I've come to knowing about meditation. Levitation. I find it fascinating. There have been some figures who've claimed to be able to levitate, and it can be a little bit of an ego thing as well. People looking for some kind of acclaim. But what is levitation about? What is how does that happen? How can we explain it? It's really, really interesting to defy gravity. And maybe that's what mysticism, maybe that's what mysticism is really about, to defy gravity, It's the kind of supernatural spiritual mechanism that takes us beyond what we think is gravity, what we think is ground, what we think is so-called reality, scientific reality. But we know that there's a spiritual context, there's a spiritual power, there is there are things that happen that defy physics, that don't necessarily follow scientific law, but they go way beyond it. So Marianne, I think you would be quite knowledgeable in these kind of topics. What is modern day mysticism, and is it relevant in these times? In times of war, in times of struggle? Surely we need this more than anything else. Surely we need the power of the mystic more than other things, and to bring meaning into everything you're doing, every little thing you're doing, to bring holiness back to the simple things, holiness back to rituals. We were talking about tea and bringing the sacredness back into something as simple as tea. So we're not separated from spirituality or God, but we are connected. It's part of our life, part of our world. It's not about the world is not about separation, it's about connection, interconnection, weaving up all the threads into a whole. And Teresa of Avila was one of these great mystics, and she had this book called The Interior Castle, or Entering the Castle, which describes the 7 stages of the inward journey to ultimate union with God. So I find that really interesting. These sacred mystics from the past, and what it means to be a modern day mystic. Marta says tea, fasting, and praying. Beautiful. Tea, fasting, and praying. Marianne says it is relevant. Any weird power is a source of hope, maybe a weapon. And it's interesting you use the word weapon. What do you mean by weapon, Marianne? That it can be used against people. Yeah, I think you've got a good point there. It could be used against people. So I guess with everything we have to be very discerning and make sure that we keep our intuition activated. Anything for protection. So Marta, tea, fasting, and praying. That's beautiful, Ma. Very beautiful. So what does it mean to enter the castle? And what are the mystical laws that govern this reality? How can we work with the laws of the universe to defy gravity, to move beyond the physical realm? And can we make spells? Can we make prayers? I would argue we're all making spells. We're making prayers. We setting intentions. We are putting out our energy into the world. So we're all expressing these kind of mystical energies just naturally, just in our normal lives. And it depends, I guess, on what kind of power we have in the world energetically, what kind of power we have energetically to manifest manifest. I think what most of us do is we throw darts in all sorts of directions. But everyone experiences light and dark in their life path, and that makes us a sort of contemporary mystic, and it makes life the great initiation. And we're all invited. You're all invited on this journey. So Marta is using tea, fasting, and praying. Beautiful. So how can we choose to be more connected? How can we choose to shift our perception into making choices for ourselves in the world that bring a high level of love, a high level of connection, acceptance, spiritual illumination? How can we make choices that bring this world into being? Because it really takes a number of us working together to raise the vibration, to collectively affect the world. And I think walking your talk is really important. So it's almost like living with a sense of integrity. So being truthful with yourself. It doesn't have to just be with others, but being truthful. So integrity is helpful to almost to consciously answer this kind of question of bringing the power of the human experience into everything we do in life. So another thing to do and to orientate ourselves in our lives is not just to focus on the pain, not just to focus on the bad thing, the struggle, the difficulty, but to focus on the wisdom. What have we learned? What are we learning? Share this from this point of learning, of not being the victim of experience, but how are we learning from this? How are we gaining wisdom? How are we using this as a gateway, as a portal to shift us forward? So we all have experiences of great difficulty as human beings, and some have daily terrible daily pain, for instance, which makes life really challenging. So how are we using that? How are we using that experience to raise ourselves up, to help other people, and not to be defeated by the obstacle, but to use it as leverage, to use the obstacle as a leverage point to move ourselves higher? It is important sometimes that we push out into the world, into something that is outside of our comfort zone. So we have to be brave in a way to sometimes take the guidance that we receive and put it out into the world, which takes a sense of strength, power, courage, and facing and creating new possibilities. How can we choose our words differently? How can we choose our words consciously and use words that give us strength and power, that honor our vocabulary but shift it forward? So harness the strength of words to raise things up, because thoughts have frequency, ideas have frequency, words have frequency. So raising up your words so that you visualize a prayer, you visualize a high vibration. So very important, the words we use, how we express truth, and shifting away from blame and shame, entitlement as well. Blame, shame. When you yeah, people, they deserve this, they're entitled to this. It's also quite a victim mentality. So shifting beyond blaming and shaming, feeling entitled to something. Then there's an invocation, there's a prayer, there's a blessing. So everything we bless, everything I come in contact with, I bless. Coming back to the tea ceremony, I bless this tea. I am happy to be here to share my energy with the world, share my wisdom with the world, and be really grateful for this opportunity, this beautiful tea. Celebrate having the tea or coffee each day as a unique moment that's never quite the same. It may be similar, but it's never quite the same. And choose to dissolve the bitterness from our hearts and to see everything with the eyes of gratitude. So let that be our prayer, to bless every moment, to love every moment, or bring our hearts to every moment. So Marianne says E. Marta says, work on ourselves, inner work, helping others and spread happiness around us. So that's a beautiful gift, to be able to spread happiness, to make others joyful, to bring that to other people is a beautiful, beautiful and wonderful gift, an opportunity. You imagine going around and making people happy. What a gift and a blessing that is, to be able to do that in the world. Already have a portal. Cousin Joe at 11 minutes of each hour sends a message like a 9/11, reminded me to look deep at people and maybe connect with them. So Marianne has this beautiful messenger, which we spoke about last week, I believe, who is an angel who comes and raises her consciousness, comes and helps her to shift her vibration, expand her vibration, and connect with this this concept, this reality of ascended being, of ascension, of higher energies. So you can really think of this concept of ascension and raising the vibration, which is beautiful, which I like to bring bring everything in the world, physical or whatever, raise it up into the soul, into the higher plane, into divinity, into a more loving, ascended, liberated form. So we take form and we merge it with formlessness. We raise each energy up into the universe, into the divine. So it's been a wonderful privilege to share with you today, to be with you today, to talk about some insights about ascension, spirituality, mysticism, sacred union, and how to uplift ourselves in the world, to orientate ourselves towards higher mystical truths, and to bring prayer and meditation into our life, to use the tea ceremony or the coffee ceremony to elevate our lives and the world of the people around us, to elevate the people around us, bring them joy, bring their happiness, spread this happiness and joy to all the earth, to everyone we come across. And our orientation does impact other people. It always impacts other people. So please let me know how this went for you today. Thank you for sharing your being here on the show. If anyone does want to book in one-on-one sessions with me for psychotherapy and coaching and healing, energy healing, there is a link below. And see you all next week. It's been a wonderful privilege to be with you today. So I'm going to start to say goodbye. If anyone would like to come and say goodbye, I will share that. And Stu from Florida, wonderful, wonderful man and wonderful supporter of the show. Thank you, Stu. And thank you, Marta, for being with me today. It was a great joy to have you here, and you really activated a lot of healing energy, a lot of mystical energy through you as a portal. So thank you, Marta. Thank you, Stu. And Marianne says, see the next week. Have a beautiful week, everyone. And lots of love